episode 37 of Rigor Mortis Paranormal. Tonight's episodes include Bigfoot visits Chickasaw County, a flatulent ghost, Lucy, ghost of the rumor mill, and Ian visits the Bermuda Triangle in his Sobering Thoughts segment, and more from the RMP cast. I am David, this is Robert, Jasmine, Kory, Ian, Jacob, and Gilbert.
Hello.
What's up? What's happening, everybody?
What's up, fellas? We got our first Bigfoot.
Hey, Bigfoot, yay!
I know Jasmine was doing Malomos over there.
I always think Chewbacca when I hear Bigfoot. I don't know why.
Well, it's crazy though, because when we were reading it, it was everything that you expected, Jazz. A smelly ghost. They smell
I was
like
waiting for them to
skunks.
say something about ticks or fleas and.
I'm sure there were, man. Infested
know.
with those big. Oh God, that's gross.
He just wanted a bath.
You got any soap?
He's like, I didn't have these crabs when I got here.
Hey, that's funny because we were just talking about Bigfoot on the last episode, weren't we? We were
Yeah.
talking about the Jello shots, doing Jello shots with Bigfoot.
I'm sure I made a Chewbacca
The
sound
issues
there
when I
too.
put them in, I don't know what happened. Oh, gross, man. Pulling off hairs off your tongue. I like doing it from Bigfoot, man. It's a deep well, but man, it's not worth it.
Like a 24-ounce can of beer.
All the stories that we're getting from everywhere, man.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, we're a bunch of drunk folks here, but we're looking at analytics, believe it or not.
What's that mean?
Man, we like to say hello to some of our global friends. Man, we got Philippines, Argentina, UK, Australia, India, Mexico, Canada, New Zealand, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and even Serbia, which there's like two people that live in Serbia.
That's what I'm saying. Who catches us down in Serbia?
I know, yeah.
How? Man, but awesome if they do, man. Then this one, we dedicate this one to Serbia, man.
Send some stories.
I don't even know where that is on a map.
Isn't it like
Pull up a map.
But isn't that like closer to like, man, I could be totally wrong, like Russia or something like that?
Yeah, that's like in that border between.
You're right. I think you're right.
So this one would be like a Yeti for them, man. But also,
Shout out?
Yeah,
I want to give a shout out to Christy Smith, who's donating $5 a month and that's through the donation. That's not through. That's not even through our.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
it. Definitely goes a long way. I mean, again, like we said, we've been pushing Patreon, but one thing we just mentioned that we just recently added.
What did we get new?
Oh, we got a new speaker. I've got a pair of computer speakers right here, but only one of them works. But hey, you know what?
So thank you, Christy, for these.
That's right, thank you.
1.5
Christy,
speakers.
that's right. But we do have that PayPal button to donate on our website now too, which was really cool, and that's kind of nice because he was the first one to use it, so we really appreciate that. And not only that, it was a great donation too, which is totally awesome.
And you know what, man? I gotta give a shout out to both Dave, man. I mean, that's awesome. You're doing great work on the website. It's looking great, and also we were talking about the merch, which is also Jasmine, man. Jasmine's coming through in a big way with that.
Yeah, the merchandise on the website now. Check it out. We got T-shirts, buttons, and stickers, and we got Kory adding some new artwork on this. So
man, I left out Kory.
I did something. I tried.
I mean, especially the new Texas one looked awesome, man. I mean, I'm hoping we can get T-shirts of those. And I think we're talking about that also, about sending that merch of the T-shirts out, man, you know.
Oh, yeah, the
for,
people that are Patreon and people that are donating, so you too, Christy, as well. We're just trying to figure out how we're going to, but we do want to give you guys that are donating money free T-shirt,
Thank you.
or something.
Eventually we want to,
we're just trying to figure out.
Show you guys, we appreciate y'all.
I know that we're coming to the part of when you guys will probably hear this podcast, the school will probably be definitely rolling. I just had to say something though, and this has to be about the first day of school because it's totally different now than what it was back in '70.
It is different because now you have like social media and you can like
blast the schools or not, or
for the school. I don't know where you're going, but for like the kids in general.
Just trying to keep
Cyberbullying.
I had a couple of beers, man. Yeah, but you know
what? I remember going to school at Fila's.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, they're fake shacks. So what's fucked up is like shacks are already ghetto,
so we're talking about
they're
shoes
fucking
now.
fake shacks.
Shacks with a CK instead of Q. Shacks.
We bought them from the fucking side of the road.
They were sheets. They were shacks. But that's what I was saying because it's totally different back in the '70s. Okay, you wanna draw straws? Here we go. Like I gotta go through my first day of school because it blew big times, man. This was back in like 1970, man. 71 actually. And I didn't even start kinder or that. They threw me right in with the big dogs. First grade. Vámonos, right?
Hey, me too. High five.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, but you were smart. I was just hungry. I was hungry, man.
I was hungry. When's lunch?
He got the appetite of a fourth grader.
Is he a free lunch? Damn.
Free lunch.
But I was, though. That's, I mean, because seriously, I don't know.
Reduced.
There are some folks, and I know we were some of them, that, man, if you wanted to eat, man, you went to school, man. It wasn't for the learning. It was for the getting the full. Yeah, they know what I'm talking about.
You race to the line.
Yeah. Enchilada Wednesdays?
Enchilada
Forget
day.
about it.
Hell yeah.
But back then, we were, like, broke like sons of bitches, man. I mean, we had no money, man. So I remember the first day of school that I went, I was dressed like a homeless kid from Beirut, man. The clothes that they were actually given to us from a lady from church, an elderly lady. And her son was 12. Me and you didn't go to school, but you were.
Yeah.
Some of those clothes belonged to you too. So I was 5, you were 4, and so I had to wear this shirt, man. It was huge. It was a 12-year-old shirt for a 5-year-old. So I had to kind of tuck it in. Man, the shirt was red, and it had these long lapels, these long collars, and it had like white stitching, like a trim. And then and they were long, man. They went like past your shoulder, like the tip. Like, yeah, that's me. And then I was wearing these like tan slacks, and then I had to wear these white shoes that were like dress shoes, but with a buckle on them, and they were like 2 sizes bigger. So, and I'm telling you, they had to belong to the dad, man, because I don't think any kid in their right mind would wear that shit. I'm serious, that it sucked, man, because I had to go like that, and then, well, I mean, we went. So my mom drops me off, man, and God bless her. She really tried very hard. You know, we were just broke. Everybody was broke back then. Everybody's went through the same thing. I'm not crying being a bitch, but what it is when she dropped me off, my class was having breakfast. They were having breakfast, and I was like, well, you know, at least I get to eat. And I know you remember this day. I hated eggs. I don't know what to do. Not like them now, but like back then I just couldn't stand them. But man, so mom gives me to the teacher, and she has her hands full, man. The kids, everybody's crying, man. So then, man, mom starts walking away, man, and I do a manly cry, bro. I do that cry like Denzel Washington and Kory when they're punishing them for stealing those shoes. Like, man, I'm just watching mom, but the tears are coming down, but no sound. I'm just looking at her like, damn. And then so, yeah, man. So anyway, so they throw me in line. They say, go get something to eat, right? And so I go, and I know I brought this up before, so I go in, and they're powdered eggs, and they do have some down there, those little sausages, those, what do they call the little Smokies, cocktail weenies.
Yeah.
Man, those are, but they gave me 3 of those.
They gave you 3 little weenies?
Yeah, the cocktail weenies, man.
I know what you're talking about.
The little Smokies. You know what I'm talking about, right? And I'm still kind of crying, but I'm like, oh, little Smokies. So my tears kind of, go away a little bit, right?
Oh, food.
Yeah, it's like, well, at least I get a little Smokies. So I get down and I'm sitting there, and I'm not really hungry because I'm kind of still sad. And everybody's crying around me, and I'm kind of like, damn, dude, this is like prison. Why would they send me here? I don't know why. So I started eating, man, the first fucking bite, man. And I'm like, and I hate eggs, but I'm eating the eggs only because everybody else is eating. I do my first bite of the eggs, man. I get a spoonful too, right? And I don't know why I did it, because I don't like eggs, and I'm just trying to fit in with everybody else. So I'm eating it, and eggs are scrambled eggs are supposed to be soft, but there's something floating around in there like a rock or something.
Oh, man.
I took out whatever was in my mouth, man. It was a fucking decaying tooth.
Oh, no.
And I was like a cavity tooth, yeah. It had a tooth that had a cavity, so I spit it. Yeah, it was disgusting, dude. And I was like, oh, that's not supposed to be there, right? And I was like, I wonder. And the only thought I had, man, those ladies that were missing teeth, the cafeteria ladies, man.
Ladies, man.
Yeah, it was like,
Cabrón, get this foot and keep going.
So I started going, man. I was like, yeah, I could sub those for weenies. I mean, I should get some kind of compensation. And I was like, I didn't even eat the weenies, man. I started sitting there, and then.
You should have started with the weenies.
I should have, man.
I'm surprised you didn't.
So there, I'm just there sitting there, man, just like, and I'm waiting for everybody to get up, man, and I'm sitting there looking like Gary DeLon, man. You older guys who used to watch Channel 5 News in San Antonio, y'all would get that reference, man. I get up, man, so I'm walking, in line to give my tray and, empty my trash, and so I dropped my tray. This lady, and she was an ugly bitch, man. She was probably about like 4'11", and she had she had a sharp nose, but she had a cloudy eye. Like she never took care of her cataract. It just kept getting worse. And she went off, man. So, y'all need to be more careful. I was like, dadgummit, y'all need to hang on to your dadgum trays, and I can't be picking up after y'all all the time. Y'all need to help us halfway, meet us halfway. And I was like, bitch, I was like,
y'all need to hang on to your teeth.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, here, mira, what is this yours? So she actually did scare me, man. So I did start crying like a bitch too, man. Big tears, bitch.
So this is the first day of school.
First day of school, man. So, Dave,
shit.
seriously, what kind of school supplies do I have?
Oh,
man?
God, yeah.
I don't have no clothes. So I go with 3 pencils, and they're not the number 2. They have like a B on them,
A bee?
And then
Yeah.
I did have, for some reason, I had the Big Chief tablet, but
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have crayons. The glue. I didn't have Elmer's glue. It was in a baby jar of, it was a used jar of baby food. But it was a masa trigo mixed with water. The flour, they used to make flour.
Flour and water?
Like paper
You
mache?
stir it?
Yeah, but it was like flour and mixed with water. And it'll stick, it'll work just as good. So I had to apply it with my finger. But that shit flew back then. Or paddling your kid. Yeah, Dad was all for that. Yeah, sometimes I get tired, so so they let you whip on their kids, man. And some of those motherfuckers, if they didn't like you, or they're gonna go all out and make sure that you remember that badly, man. So, but I mean, I think most of the time we kind of deserve it. I'm thinking we should go into our next story.
Yeah, I know we haven't gotten to the first one.
shit.
Yeah, let's check it
You and
out.
your
Let's
boy
do Lucy, Ghost of the Rumor Mill. Let's start off with that one. My grandmother Rachel, passed away when I was 25, in August of 2009 when she was 81 years old. Her brother's wife Lucy was our next door neighbor, had gotten sick with cancer that same year. By the following February, she was gone as well. Growing up at my grandmother's house, I remember Lucy coming home every day from work, and she'd stop by the house to gossip or just chat with my mom and grandma until her husband came home. As a kid, I remember always hearing them talking in the dining room as I laid in my bedroom watching cartoons. It always made me feel comfortable in a way. Around a year after they both passed away, I was moving from a house to an apartment where pets weren't allowed. I asked my mom, who had moved back into my grandmother's old home, if she'd be able to keep the dog temporarily until I found another home. She agreed, and so I took the dog over one night. When I got there, we sat in the same bedroom that I used to watch TV as a kid. My back to one wall and her back to another, with the dog laying on her belly facing us both. While my mom and I were talking, I heard what I can only describe as a tone of another voice coming from the closet directly behind me. It sounded as if you were walking down a long, quiet hallway and there's an office door open with someone inside on the phone, and you can hear the tone of a voice. We can't make out any words. It sounded just like that. It happened so fast. My mom stuttered a little bit, but kept on talking. But the dog jumped up and stuck her nose right where I heard it, then began barking very aggressively. I asked my mom, "Did you hear that?" She acted dumb and said, "Hear what?" But I knew she did, especially with the dog's reaction. My mom's yard isn't big, but it's long and narrow, and for some reason I parked my truck way in the back that day. Now that it was dark, that was the longest walk ever. I felt like someone was right on my shoulder as I was walking to my vehicle. I got home and thought about it weeks later. I finally realized that it wasn't my grandmother's voice I heard. It was my Aunt Lucy's voice in my grandmother's home. The only thing I can think of is they're together again, gossiping and talking their shit.
I can imagine being in that situation and at first being scared, but then to be able to have that realization that it's oh, okay, it's family. They're together now. That's gotta be
Comforting.
Comforting, exactly. Man, a lot of times you get these stories and man, what are you still doing in there? Run! Get out, leave the room.
And then
never come back.
It's like a familiar feeling.
Yeah, it gives you comfort in that you're hearing the rumor mills again. And I wonder if he could make out the words, though. You know what I mean? You know how a lot of times...
No, he just said it sounded like somebody's kind of maybe they're talking on the phone, but it was like a background thing, mumbling, or
I
you just
wonder
couldn't
why
really...
that is, right? I mean, you get the EVPs where they come out, they come out and they're clear, but when you hear voices or talking, it's always it's a murmur or something like that. You can never understand what's going on.
What's weird is how dogs in particular, seem to pick up on these things a
Oh,
lot,
yeah.
man. Like,
Yeah.
you always hear, like, the dog was barking at something in the corner and there was nothing
Yeah,
there.
or looking in the corner or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's funny because she's talking about how... I'm sorry.
It was a guy.
I'm sorry.
It was a guy telling
He
the
was
story.
talking about how, you know, when it's dark outside and you, like, feel like someone's walking behind you. And I've gone outside to feed the dogs in the middle of the night when I get off work and they're barking at nothing in the corner of the yard. And I'm, like, running out there and throwing food at their bowls and running back to the door.
Yeah, right. Oh,
Feeling like
in case you're wondering what that noise is, that's a back door.
Sorry.
That's a
opening.
back door opening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're fancy
back door.
now.
We're fancy.
Yeah.
We're bougie.
Back door
Actually,
ajar.
it's the complete opposite. We're worried about our surroundings.
Yeah.
We got a little
All
extra
these damn children getting kidnapped and shit.
But the cheese man always reminds me back in like the day too when they like when mom and all her friends would be around and they would be
And she said that he said that they said that she said.
cheese man is rumors in
Rumors.
Spanish. It's
Shit talking,
the
like-
cheese.
Yeah.
Let me hear what it is.
The cheese.
Give me some of that nasty cheese.
Yeah.
Renee, thank you for that story. That was awesome. And we've had Renee on here before, and he's always giving us some awesome stories, and that's just another one. And please keep them coming, brother.
Yeah, he's the one that gave us the same story about the rancher from hell. That
Yeah, that's
story
like up there in my top 5. Man.
That's the
I
one
mean,
that sticks. That's what I was telling you the other day. It just sticks in my mind. Remember?
Yeah.
I was like,
That-
dude.
that-
awesome.
that
That
one-
one and the one with the devil sitting down in the bed.
Don't I still get chills hearing that one.
Yeah, let's do the flatulent story. The flatulent ghost. I guess.
Which is healthy even for a ghost.
But maybe we should hear from our sponsors first.
Oh, let's
A
listen.
word from your sponsors.
Do women laugh at you when you walk into the room? Are you ugly and out of shape? Suffer no longer. You can now be a real man. Introducing Dr. Worm's Virile Power Serum. Gain extreme manlyhood and an external appearance of what a man should look like. Muscles. Yes. Sweat. Hair. Yeah. More power. Take it from Dr. Worm, maker of the Power Serum.
I used to be a loser and a wimp. Nobody wanted to party with me. That's why I took matters into my own hands and developed the power serum. Now, with just one look, a woman will have an uncontrollable urge to get busy with me. Yeah!
So take charge of your manliness and be the best man you could ever be. Dr. Worm's Virile Power Serum is available where all vitamins are sold.
Okay, thanks for listening to our sponsor. This time for real. Check out this story.
This next story comes to us from Miss Lydia Hall. Hi RMP, you are my favorite people to listen to. My name is Lydia, aka Ladybug, because of all my tattoos of ladybugs. I'd like to share my story with you. Me and my boyfriend Jesse have been together a year now. When we met, I was on my last year of college up in Texarkana with 6 months left to go until I was done. My boyfriend lived up in Arkansas, about 2.5 hours from Texarkana. I met him when I went home for the Christmas holidays. After a week of hanging out, he asked me if he can cook dinner for me at his apartment that night. When I pulled up to the apartment building, it looked really run down, and when I walked into the building, it was majestic looking, but looked a lot better in the inside than on the out. We sat down for dinner and I could tell there was no cooking involved. It was all takeout. But we'll keep that our secret. The table was set with candles and a red tablecloth. I can tell he really tried hard to impress me. He poured us some wine. As we ate and talked about family, friends, and school, I saw what looked like bugs walking on the table, wine glass, and on the candles. I got sick to my stomach, hoping I didn't eat any of these bugs, but when I looked closer, I saw they were all ladybugs. Jesse looked embarrassed, picking up all the ladybugs he could find and placing them outside his window. I couldn't stop thinking all that night how strange that was, being that my tattoos were of ladybugs. When dinner was over, Jesse took our wine glasses to the couch and we sat there talking and watching some television. Then a horrible rotten egg smell just went up my nose. I looked at Jesse and he looked at me and we started laughing. He asked me if my stomach was okay. I looked at him like, "You're kidding me? You're going to blame me for your fart? There's only 2 of us and I know it wasn't me." He started laughing. My face got so red and I said, "Well, that wasn't me." We laughed it off and continued with our night. I went home shortly after The next morning, he asked me if I could come over for brunch. When I got there, he opened his door in a towel and told me to have a seat while he finished getting dressed. Not even 5 minutes of being there, I got the same smell of rotten eggs going up my nose. Just then, Jesse comes out to the couch. I was like, great. He comes out here when the smell is still lingering. I knew he smelled it because he started to laugh again. In my head, I thought, seriously? When we sat down to eat at his kitchen table, he told me he had something to tell me. He told me he knew the farts weren't coming from me. I thought what an awkward thing to talk about, especially while we were eating. But he continued to explain that every time he had a female over, no matter if it was his sister, mother, or friend, crazy things would happen and always that awful rotten egg smell. He said he stopped having females come over because it would embarrass him. He didn't want them to think he was dirty. He told me that one of his friends got a medium to come over. He didn't know if he believed in that, but she told him that there was a entity in his apartment that was in love with him and didn't want any other female around him. He said the medium called it a succubus, and he couldn't take the signs lightly. Holiday break was over. I had to head back to school. Me and Jesse's relationship grew. He'd come over to see me on the weekend and we could Skype every night. After the school year was over, I found an apartment close to my parents' house and asked Jesse to move in with me. He accepted my invitation, only bringing his clothes and a few odds and ends since my apartment was fully furnished. One of our favorite things to do after a long day was watch TV and relax on the couch. After a month of him moving in one night, he pulled his box of DVDs out and said, "Let's watch Goodfellas. It's my favorite movie." We sat on the sofa snacking on popcorn. Then we both looked at each other. Yep, you guessed it. Rotten eggs.
Good story, man.
That's
really
a
was.
unique story, actually.
A jealous ghost.
Definitely never had one like that.
You know what though? When they were
story.
talking about succubuses,
A jealous succubus.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Succubuses. They're the ones
Succubus. Suck my bus.
Spit it
As
out.
a lady, the last thing I'm gonna do is fart to try to win.
No. Yeah. Oh, you're trying to take my man. Here you go. I always thought they were evil, and that they use seduction on their victims.
This was like kind of the opposite. Like, he didn't want him being in a relationship with anybody else.
Yeah.
But he
Which is
said
weird.
mom, sister, or any female, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I know how this happens because I met a girl one time that was fucking jealous.
Was she a succubus?
She will be in the afterlife.
Afterlife, yeah, or whatever her afterlife
To be
was.
busting them big times. I remember.
We used to work in a warehouse with some guy, and he was fucking cool as shit. He was so cool, but his fucking girlfriend was crazy, like
That's the way it
crazy.
goes. Or vice versa.
And he was not a good-looking guy, but he was cool. Like, he had a cool attitude. He wasn't. I don't know who was more. She was good for him. But,
I'm not gonna say any names, but I know who you're talking about.
yeah.
He was fucking hot.
There one time when she was like, "I'm gonna run that bitch over" about some other girl, and I was like,
She just asked him, "What time is it?"
"Oh, I know, yeah, yeah, basically." So
I'm gonna fart.
she's like, "I'm gonna fart on you, bitch, then run you over."
She's a big woman, Jack. This nasty egg. I just ate carne asada. You're in for it now. But though that's crazy though, because especially because he's trying to put the smooth move on her. But that's what I'm saying. Okay, just because she's and here we go back to the mediums. You know how they go. I'm not saying all of them. And what do I have against mediums, man? I'm serious, man.
I hear you.
What'd they do to
because
you?
No, it's just bullshit because. Like, this lady just threw that in there. It's a succubus. That doesn't sound like a demon. It sounds like maybe a jealous woman that came somewhere in
Like
his
a
life,
jealous
some
ghost.
part. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe the dudes
Flatulent
fart.
big times, man. Like, I get nervous and I fart, So, like, this bitch is trying to take my... excuse me, I didn't mean to say it like that. But that's what the lady ghost would say. And I apologize. I didn't mean it like that. But that's what she's saying is like, oh, she's after my man. No, hell no.
Yeah.
And here we go. Rah,
Yeah.
She sounds like a motorcycle out of gas.
And he must have been handsome.
Right?
Maybe.
He better have been.
And then thank God though. Here's the thing that I can't think about. Because she, God bless her. I mean, I bet that looks cool. Her ladybugs that she has, her tattoos. Because she saw the ladybugs, and that's a trip. That is kind of
That
weird.
is trippy, yeah.
But thank God she didn't have tattoos of big roaches.
Or the damn crickets we get here all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking random, like fucking octopus or something.
And there were tyrannosauruses.
You wouldn't believe the amount of velociraptors.
But see, that's the other thing too, though, right? Like, if it was, I don't think a regular ghost would be able to do something like that, right?
That's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, you're right too, because a succubus is.
I don't know what a succubus is.
Well,
Is it
damn,
like a siren?
it's a sea urchin.
It's a lady spirit, but it's an evil lady spirit that.
Well, a demon.
Yeah, that's what I always thought. It was a demon. It was a succubus. It was a demon that used her, seduction to get to him. And there's another one for
men or something.
yeah.
Like that.
Exactly, and then there's another
this
one
case,
for men. There's
party.
another one. Don't ask me what.
Wow, yeah, I don't know what
it's
that-
another.
Incubus.
Succubus.
There you go. It is incubus.
Now I remember.
Now I know
That
that's
sounds familiar
incubus.
now.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like there was really the only harm that came to these two people is just the rancid smell, and that's that's.
I don't know.
It's just like there's so many contradictions here because like a ghost, I can't imagine a ghost would have the ability to like make an illusion or
Ladybugs.
bring ladybugs or whatever. But then I don't know why. Not by any means. I'm not doubting the story or trying to poke holes in it. I'm just like curious because like it
Deciding what kind of ghost that really is, because just because a medium told you that you had a succubus there,
right.
It may not have been, and
Or it could have been a weaker succubus, maybe. Like, maybe there's like different strengths or tiers or something.
That's what I'm saying. How do you get the title of a succubus until you?
Do you want that title?
Not me. I'd rather be an incubus myself.
An incubus that listens to
I'd
One
rather
Direction.
be an incubator or whatever they're called. But that's what I always thought is that they always had that they were like mean spirited people. That's the way I was like the way Ian said. I always thought they were mean spirited.
I
Also,
wonder if like this lady, maybe before she passed away, maybe she met him on a buffet or something. She just saw him and just said, "I love madre, I like that guy.
Daddy.
Right, he's handsome. He's so very handsome." And then
How forward was this guy, man, to come out on the second date and a hand towel? Just oh my God, you caught me at a bad time. Ask this chap's rolling back upstairs. Let me put my clothes back on. Come on, guy. But this is what I'm saying. And then not only that, though, man. Okay, because we did text her back, and she said, that they actually moved from that apartment. And they didn't follow him. I exactly think that's what. Unless, I mean, maybe the guy did fart and didn't want to cough it up. Oh, she's back, or whatever. But, but like she. Remember we reading it? It was she was saying like, "You're not bringing shit back.
yeah.
You're not bringing anything." Like he had to totally walk into her house naked, man. Like the new house are coming naked, and kind of you do have to, man. Go to Walmart and go change it. Yeah, I'm just gonna wear these back to my house. I would, man. Seriously, I mean, the succubus would be stuck in their changing room, so whatever. It could leech onto somebody else, man. Just leave me alone, man. But honestly, we choke around, we kid around, and I'm gonna do some heavy editing on this one. But it was an awesome story. Thank you so much for that.
Is there more?
Well, that was the thing, though. See, because when they first moved in together, I guess when they moved out, they said, "Screw this," the ghost is over there. And then, at the end of the story that we just read, they were living together, but the ghost apparently followed them when he brought some stuff. But in an email that we were, I guess Rob had emailed her back, and she replied because he asked, "Is like, okay, well, is it still around? What's going on?" And so she said, "No, they moved again, and this time they moved into another house. But this time she made them leave everything. Just said, screw it, you ain't bringing nothing but the underwear you're wearing."
Them socks got to come out too, man. Come on.
Jesse took some gas X before we left.
Yeah, you're coming in nothing. You're wearing nothing but a smile in this house, cabrón. Vámonos.
But now, she said, I mean, everything's good, right? I mean, I haven't.
Actually, and that's good news, man.
So
I mean,
awesome.
But I mean, how harmful was it? I mean, come on, it's unpleasant that you get that smell in there, but. Thank you so much for that. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great story.
Hey, I have a question. Have you ever farted in front of him since that?
Yes. We may need that email. Yeah. Have y'all got comfortable
email.
where it's just like flatulence on both sides?
Yeah, email us about that.
Yeah, hell yeah. You know what's up next, right?
You know what? Yeah.
The doozy.
Ian's Corner.
It's time for
Also known as the Devil's Triangle or Hurricane Alley, The Bermuda Triangle is a loosely defined region of the North Atlantic Ocean extending from Bermuda to Miami and Puerto Rico, covering an area of 440,000 square miles. Because of the high number of mysterious disappearances of aircraft and ships, it is also known as the Devil's Triangle. Most reputable sources dismissed the idea that there is any mystery to the disappearances, with many scientists believing the Gulf Stream that runs near the triangle quickly removes debris from the search area, making it impossible or more difficult for any remains to be found. The first supernatural report of an experience in the Bermuda Triangle came from Christopher Columbus, who wrote in his journals about fireballs in the sky and a malfunctioning compass. Now, I don't know anything about fireballs in the sky, but the malfunctioning compass can be explained because until the 19th century, the Bermuda Triangle was one of two places on Earth where a magnetic compass would point towards true north rather than magnetic north. But this has actually been corrected due to variations in the Earth's magnetic field. So now it does point to magnetic north and doesn't point to true north anymore. So there have been several attempts to understand why there's so many ships that crash and planes that crash and why they disappear. And one thing that I found interesting was that the U.S. actually has a Navy facility there, known as the Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center, or the Navy's ALTEC facility, that is located in the Triangle. The facility is officially used to test submarines, sonar, and other weapons, but there are some who believe the ALTEC facility could play some part in the disappearances, or that they're investigating the true cause. One of the more scientifically accepted explanations, which is something that I actually heard a while back, or some variation on it, I don't know if I heard exactly this. There are large bubbles of methane that float up to the surface near a ship or plane in the Bermuda Triangle, which disrupts a boat's buoyancy, causing it to sink, and for an airplane it would affect their engines, causing them to shut down. And then not to mention, too, with how easy to ignite methane is, it's possible that some boats or planes caught fire and exploded. And something else that I had heard that I couldn't actually find anything on, that there is some sort of gas in that area that comes up and affects the plane's ability to fly. So, because it's a different density than air, the plane can't properly fly through the air, and it loses speed and ends up falling and crashing. That was something else that I remember hearing. I wanted to do more about the potential paranormal events that have happened there. Some thoughts about how there are maybe aliens or something like that involved in that area. But I actually ended up finding some information about something completely different related to this topic that actually really pulled me into it. In 2001, a marine engineer and her husband, working with the Cuban government to survey the floor around Cuba, discovered a series of symmetrical and geometric stone structures that resembled an urban complex, including some pyramid-like structures. Later investigations with an underwater ROV showed large blocks of stone resembling hewn granite, with some seemingly stacked deliberately atop each other. Scientists estimated the structures would have taken 50,000 years to sink to the depths they were discovered in. No known civilizations had the technology or knowledge to build complex structures 50,000 years ago. Some people thought that this could be the lost city of Atlantis, but many scientists disagreed with that and instead believed that it had some connections to local legends from the Maya and Yucatecos. While there was an initial rush of publicity and promises from National Geographic, the Cuban government, and others to further investigate, there was no further developments, and the story quickly fell into obscurity, which led some to believe there was some sort of suppression for information regarding the discovery. From what I could find, also, this discovery actually was made on the western coast of Cuba, which lies outside of what generally is agreed, borders of the triangle. But it's still in the area, and I think some stuff related to Bermuda Triangle does happen that far outside of it, so it still felt relevant enough to include. But a little closer to the triangle, something was discovered called the Bimini Road, which is an underwater rock formation near North Bimini Island in the Bahamas. The road consists of a 0.5 mile long northeast-southwest linear feature made of roughly rectangular limestone rocks. Some have described it as having a strong resemblance to a paved stone road, which further fueled theories that Atlantis was in or near the Bermuda Triangle. Whether for unnatural or natural reasons, the triangle frequently has violent and unexpected storms that can seem to form from literally nowhere. There was one case of a pilot who, it was clear day, and all of a sudden a horrible thunderstorm just formed out of nowhere and made it almost impossible to fly because his compass was going out of whack. And then the storm made it hard to see, and of course he ended up crashing, which, leads to my next factoid, which is that there have been 1,000 deaths, at least, in the last 100 years within the Bermuda Triangle. Not to mention that the ocean under the triangle is some of the deepest in the world. So, there was that theory that the currents from the Gulf Stream were pulling debris and wreckage outside of the triangle. I mean, some of it could have just fallen to those super deep depths. And then something else, too, that I thought was interesting to note is that the Bermuda Triangle is one of the most heavily trafficked sea lanes in the world, which could account for the high rate of accidents and disappearances. So it might actually be more like, there's a large number of disappearances, but statistically it might not actually be, might not necessarily have more disappearances than other sea lanes. It might just feel like it just because there's so many ships going through there. Maybe, just something not paranormal, just that is normal for all this stuff to be happening because there's so many ships flying through there. Naturally, something's going to go wrong when you have so many things going through there. Also, something I meant to mention at the beginning is that the Bermuda Triangle was formerly known as the Limbo of the Lost in reference to all of the lost bodies that were never recovered. And then, last but not least, the Bermuda Triangle actually has a sister triangle in the Pacific Ocean known as the Devil's Sea, and it's a triangular area that stretches from Japan to the islands of Bonin and includes portions of the Philippine Sea, and naturally has similar occurrences, supposedly paranormal events going on in there. But yeah, that's all I had on the Bermuda Triangle this time around.
Okay. One thing that was tripping me out on too was we were talking about the gases, right?
Yes.
Methane.
Yeah.
It was methane, right? And I kept saying propane doesn't go that high. I sound like Hank Hill. Propane's a low flowing gas.
Damn it, Bobby!
Propane actually does. It stays close to the ground.
Earlier though, we just did the flatulent ghost story. We just did the flatulent ghost story. That's methane gas too.
Well, I don't know. I haven't really read anything about it recently, but somebody said something about. I haven't really read ever. Somebody said I saw something about like I saw a picture book.
The pop-up
triangle and a
hole falling in the water.
No.
Well, we were saying that it's the true north. What is that? I mean, I thought they pointed north, so. What is the true north?
So true north is like geographically like the North Pole, I guess. Basically.
Where Santa Claus is.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying.
Magnetic north is a little bit off kilter from that.
Kind of like a 10 degree or something like that.
Sometimes, I don't know the exact degree, but yeah. It doesn't point in the same direction as true north. Don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure, but I think true north is like the North Pole, and then the magnetic north is a little bit off.
And they were saying that goes back as far as Christopher Columbus, right?
Right.
Okay, but this was kind of tripped out because like you're making a lot of sense too, like all the trenches that they have out there that could be sucked under and all that, and we still haven't. I mean, if they're that deep,
we've explored more space than we have ocean, which is kind of crazy. If you think about it.
Part of the problem too with trying to explore underwater is like when you as you get lower and lower, there's like stronger pressures.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you would need like something harder than anything we can manufacture and make to be able to sustain
the pressurize and stuff. I know what you're talking about. But so it won't crash. But or even like what is it? What is that sickness that they call when you go too deep and you start losing it?
The bends?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It is a bend. Wasn't it a ship or something? Or it was a plane that went down. Then they sent like a squadron of like 5 to go look after them.
Flight 19.
Yeah, Flight 19. So they went down. And then, like, some of the ships that went after them, they sank or they were just never saw.
But one of the problems there was that they were supposed to fly over one of those islands in that area.
Bahamas?
Bahamas, thank you. Yeah, they flew over the Bahamas, but they thought it was some other group of islands. And so they thought they were going into the Gulf Coast.
Mexico, yeah.
Somehow, something about the flight leader that day was like, I think he showed up, he was like 5 minutes late, he's like, I'm not feeling this, I don't want to do this today. He seemed kind of disoriented. So
he was on drugs?
He was on possibly drugs.
Crystal weed.
Drugs.
Yeah, bad.
I heard what is it? LSD was pretty common back then.
It's possible. So I
don't know how
maybe they were all just tripping, right? When they went over the Bermuda Triangle.
Shroomed out.
But that was one thing though that did happen is because their compasses went out of whack and they thought they were, and they ran out of gas and they flew into the ocean.
They thought they were in the Gulf Coast, so they're like, oh, we need to fly northeast. But in actuality, they were where they were supposed to be at that time. So they were supposed to start flying west to get closer to the coast. But instead, they were going northeast away from the coast. So, and that's partly because the compass is messed up. And then on top of that, the flight leader was, like I said, something, he was disoriented somehow. Yeah, I don't know. But, and then the other thing too is, why didn't any of the other pilots point anything out? Until it was too late. One of them was saying that if we flew west, we would have gotten home. But that was already at a point where it was way too late for them. Yeah, it was too late for them. Yeah, they were already on it. There was no way for them to be safe. So why did nobody else think of it up to that point? Which, I mean, I'm imagining some people would look at that and think aliens. I mean, they got disoriented somehow and, I don't know, alien probing. That's one of the things I didn't get to cover too much of was aliens.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm confused. Did they all not come back?
No, none of them came back.
Okay.
They crashed.
And they still can't find the wreckage, though. That's what's kind of trick.
And there's the Malaysia also. Yeah. Malaysia Airlines, they can't find.
That's our next one. That's the one we really want to get on.
We'll get into that yet because he's going to talk about it next week.
Man, Ian, you always come with it, man. I swear to God, man. I got to drink 7 more beers just to get where I was at, man.
I swear to succubus.
Awesome story as usual.
Very awesome.
Thanks, Ian. Good story.
Bigfoot?
I got Jasmine's favorite, the Bigfoot.
Yeah. Bigfoot visits Chickasaw County.
My name is Greg. I'm from Oklahoma City, and I attend the University of Oklahoma. It was a week before classes were going to let out for the summer, so me and 3 of my friends decided to go camping before everyone had to head back home for the summer. Come Friday, we were supposed to camp out at Chickasaw National Park for the weekend, but my friend Matt thought it would be more fun if we went to Oklahoma National Forest, where we can party all night and make as much noise with no people around. I didn't think that it would be the best idea because it was very easy to get lost up in the forest of Oklahoma, and not to mention the infestation of black bears. Everyone was down for it, and I didn't want to be that one pussy about it, so I figured what the hell. Plus, I carry my handgun, and so does Jeb. So I said, okay, what could go wrong? After about 30 minutes walking into the forest with our backpacks, coolers, and tent, and a few other things we needed, we came across an opening overlooking mountains and trees. I had to admit it was a nice view. It was getting dark, so me and my friend Matt put up the tents while Jeff and Kyle made dinner in a small pit that we had brought with us. We ate and then drank until about midnight. Everyone was tired from the walk up here. I made sure all the food was sealed up tightly so not to attract any bears. About 2 in the morning, I woke up to a strong smell of skunk. It smelled like there had to be more than just one. It was so strong. My first thought was, damn, I left some food out. I turned on my flashlight from my cell phone, stepping out of the tent. The skunky smell was so powerful, I felt a headache coming on. I didn't see any food anywhere. Just as I was going back to head back to the tent, I heard something shuffle near me. Looking around with the flashlight, I saw something big and what looked black moving around in the trees. My thought was a bear. I had left my gun in the tent, not thinking I would need it for a skunk. I moved backwards, slowly back into the tent, surprised that the guys could sleep through the smell. I laid back down, not sure how long before I fell back to sleep, just to be woken back up by a loud crashing sound, this time waking all of us up. My friend Jeff started to head out of the tent, but I stopped him, telling him about the bear I thought I saw earlier that night. So Jeff grabbed his gun, and then I grabbed mine before heading out of the tent. We both had our cell phone flashlights on. I scanned, looking around, trying to figure out where the loud crashing came from, when I heard Jeff yell my name. Bringing the others out of the tent, the crash we heard was a small pit. It had been thrown 15 to 20 feet, hitting a tree. Matt looked at me and asked, can bears pick things up and throw? Just when he said that, someone or something threw something towards us, hitting the tent. I looked around to see what it was. Someone had thrown a dead squirrel at us. I yelled thinking, okay, someone has to be messing with us. I yelled towards the dark, we have guns. And then I heard Matt scream in pain. He was bleeding from his cheek. Someone threw a big jagged rock at him. By this time, everyone had their flashlights on. Kyle had picked up a thick piece of branch from a tree. We were all trying to look into the dark. I shot up into the air, hoping whoever it was would think I was shooting at them. We all headed back into the tents. I helped Matt clean his face up the best I could. It was still bleeding bad and was a pretty deep gash. None of us went back to sleep. We waited for daybreak, packing up our things, and got out of there. We held our guns until we got to the truck. We never found out what or who it was that was out there with us, but by the looks of everyone's face, we were all thinking the same thing. What could it be?
Okay, this is what I don't understand is why do you throw a squirrel? It's like,
Why not throw a squirrel,
no,
Robert?
you already fucked up the barbecue pit. Can you barbecue this for me?
Maybe there wasn't a raccoon in reach.
Did he throw the squirrel at the guy's head and that's how he started bleeding?
No, he threw a rock.
A rock. The squirrel first.
No, I know, I'm just kidding.
Because he didn't barbecue it. Like, what do you mean you're not a barbecue? You fucked up my pit. Boy, there's a rock for you, motherfucker.
He's all, cook this. Here, ignite it with the rock.
The squirrel didn't work.
The cursing that we're doing at our audience, man, that's not right. I think that's the second time I've done that. And I mean it from a Bigfoot.
You're talking about the squirrel, right?
No, I'm doing it from a Bigfoot perspective. There you go.
He's quoting Bigfoot.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, he is our audience.
Yeah, that smelly bastard, man. But that's the thing, too, because he doesn't really never say, but what is he hinting at? It's a Bigfoot.
Yeah, I know. He never really said Bigfoot.
Yeah,
We're throwing the Bigfoot all around.
Yeah.
Throwing his name
And
like
we're so
know.
excited to have a story like this. That's why.
That's not, but that's crazy, man, because seriously, you're going up there to see the beauty and to kick back and to have fun, you know
To
barbecue.
not have squirrels thrown at you.
Wait a
No,
minute.
but that's
He's like, Kyle, put down the Mountain Dew. Come on, bud.
Kyle, poor Kyle, man. He had to do everything, didn't he? He had to cook, and then he had to nurse that other guy, his face. I mean, he's like the nightingale there, right? That's pretty Kyle, man. He's pretty good with stitches and barbecuing. So, yeah, like in case we run into a Bigfoot, right? You did, man. Good choice, man.
But like bears don't throw things, right? Like
From what I know.
Like
if they did, I would imagine they would have to throw it with both hands, right? Because they have they would, right? Because they have to hold it in the middle and just kind of reach over and
I guess.
You know, throw
good logic, Rob.
No, because they have the padded hands and the little they have claws. But no, but I mean, okay, and then they have the claws. But this one, I mean, they're good for tearing shit up, man. If you get into it, fuck
good
yeah,
for gripping
if you slap somebody with that shit, yeah, you're fucked. But not for pitching the minor leagues. But that's what I'm saying. It's not gonna be a bear, man. It's not gonna be a bear. So Bigfoot, he can wrap that hand around a squirrel. And
I know Bigfoot ain't got padded claws.
Got hairy claws, but that's How does that happen though? And then too, man, the smell that bad where you get a headache. Can you imagine walking around smelling that bad? Like you smell like not a skunks.
Multiple.
It
wasn't just one.
Yeah,
Well, he threw a skunk, right?
No, he threw a squirrel.
A squirrel. Okay, I just heard that.
No, not even that. That's why Bigfoot smells so bad. I stopped throwing skunks, man.
Squirrel don't smell bad.
But that's kind of fucked up because you're trying to go out there and enjoy yourself, man. And that is a legitimate thing to be worried about is black bears.
Bigfoot?
Or brown bears, whatever they were out there.
Period,
yeah, and like, wait a minute, this is Nolan Ryan, man. He can throw, man. And we all know what he's talking about because he's saying, well, first of all, and that's what caught me was when he started talking about the smell. I was like, all right, I already know where we're going with this.
Right. Yeah.
But do all Bigfoot smell like skunks?
They're supposed to stench
Supposedly they have a bad smell.
like really bad,
They don't
man.
bathe or nothing, so.
Yeah, like they just roll around with that.
I feel like
Like,
that's profiling. Like,
I
you don't know, like,
Racism.
Racial profiling now.
yeah, that's right. They have fucking rivers and lakes or whatever. I'm sure some of them shower.
To see all bears have padded claws is profiling.
but they do, man. Yeah, but
A fucking spokesperson for Bigfoot.
have you been accused of having smelly fur? Call me.
Are you a Bigfoot that's ever ran into a Kyle?
Kyle, man.
got your
Kyle,
back.
man. He's just trying to do his thing, man, helping everybody out. You know, stitching and cooking and. Like, when does he get to have fun and fish, man? He was plum tuckered. He just drank a couple of beers and like, you guys are cooking tomorrow, man. And like, then he has to wake up and stitch this guy up. But seriously, though, man, that was an awesome story. Thank y'all so much for sending it our way, man.
Like we said, we do need more stories. Man, Bigfoot would be awesome, or man,
More
ghost
Bigfoot
stories,
stories.
whatever.
Cryptid,
you name
man.
it,
It doesn't matter. Chupacabra. We were looking at everything.
Apparently succubus and incubus now.
Man, you name it.
That'd be
Man.
interesting.
Mummies.
If you guys got stories, Rob?
If y'all have stories, please would y'all send them our way, and if you can call us at 210-901-8666. And remember, folks, that's a 3-minute call. I beg your pardon, that's a 3-minute call. So, and I've been drinking, yes, I have. So, if y'all do finish, if it goes a little over, please call back and tell us this is the second part of your story, and we will edit that bad mother. That's what we do, man. And if y'all are shy type, Dave.
Yeah, if not, man, visit our website. There is a button that says submit a story. Man, please click on that and send us your story. You can just write it out to us, or you can just email us. You email us, you can actually send us images and video, whatever. I mean, whatever.
Yes.
Just man, we'd love to have that. We'll put it on our website. We'll put it on our YouTube channel. Man, just whatever. Please, man, send us your stories. We can use them.
Yes, for sure.
And we use them all. Like I said, we've used, I think, I'd say, what, 99.9%?
Yeah, we have.
And
we've gotten a couple that were just, and we appreciate your stories. We just had some of those that were, like we said, recipes, and, I saved those, but I mean,
Is that what we made for breakfast this morning?
Yeah, no, those are my originals, so.
Hey, if you like us, share us too.
Yes.
Tell a friend.
And we always enjoy your comments, and like I said, man, we love you guys, man, and we love everything y'all send our way, and from the bottom of our hearts, we're really thankful for that. But we would love to hear some more.
We'd love to hear more, and also, man, it does take time and money to run the thing. And
here comes the bacon section.
Bacon
section.
But Patreon, man, if you want to become a Patreon member, we'd love it. We'd appreciate it. You can check that out on our website. You can visit us on patreon.com/Rigor Mortis Paranormal. Check out our website, www.rigormortisparanormal.com. We also got the new button that we mentioned earlier, the donate. You can donate any amount you want, and it can be a recurring thing or just a one-time. Whatever, anything you can do to help, we definitely appreciate it. But if not, hey, you know what? Still, we're not. You don't have to, but just
listen to us.
Listen to us, and you know what? Honestly, just as good as money is sharing us with your friends.
Yes.
Honestly, just tell others about it.
Help us get more stories.
And keep your awesome comments coming too, because we sure do love those, man. And you may get a shout out on our podcast, man.
And if you have any constructive criticism, don't hold back.
Yeah. Please tell us. I know I'm fat, but come on, let's just let's.
Constructive.
Can you do anything about that fat guy's breathing?
Don't put it so close to him. I've been sitting here and I haven't moved, and I'm tired.
This keyboard's wearing me out.
Do I really have to hit the pause button?
Is it my turn to hit the pause button already? Damn.
It's pretty much it, I guess, guys. We had a great night. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you got anything, email us again or just reach out to us. Other than that, thanks a lot.
Thanks a million.
All right. Good night.
Bye, guys.
What? You okay, Rob?
Yeah, I had to get up early today to take a dump, man, so I'm sorry.